Paul and Bill, let's go to CB Cotton. She is live with more. It's in early stages of this story, CB, but what can you tell us?
Hey, Bill. Hey, Dana. Good morning. Such sad news that we're learning. So our local Fox affiliate report said the Annunciation Church in South Minneapolis, where this is all unfolding, has a school for students who are in kindergarten through 8th grade. And, you know, the Fox affiliate says that school indeed started on Monday, which makes this really, really heartbreaking. The Fox affiliate also reports that Mass is on Wednesdays at 8:15 local time there, and students were reportedly in Mass at the time of this shooting. I can also tell you that a reunification zone has already been set up for families of children at the school, and right now first responders are on scene, are urging families to go to that reunification zone if they have questions. Obviously, you have a lot of parents who are probably there on scene, very worried, anxiously awaiting news on their children. And I want to go to some really disturbing details from the Star Tribune. This is a big publication in Minneapolis who says multiple people who live in the area reported hearing a lengthy burst of gunfire. Some people told the outlet that they heard so many shots fired off, they thought work was being done on nearby homes. And this outlet is also saying police are currently escorting parents and children to the school's basement. They've seen people crying, running towards the scene. So just, you know, a tragedy that's currently unfolding here in Minneapolis. And this shooting appears to be the latest in a string of violent incidents in this city since Tuesday afternoon.
Tragedy has struck in Minneapolis. A shooting took place this morning at Annunciation Catholic School, leaving parents, students, and the entire community in shock. Let's go through what we know so far.
Yesterday, another shooting killed one person and injured 6 others. And now, less than 24 hours later, we have this unfolding where parents are potentially waiting to hear some of the worst news of their lives. Again, no confirmed totals on a number of people who've been killed, but we are certainly monitoring social media channels, waiting to hear more from law enforcement who are there on the ground. Back over to you.
CB Cotton, thank you. Go ahead and stand by for us. Paul, we just heard CB talking about it there. Also, our Fox affiliate, Fox 9 KMSP in Minneapolis, reporting the same. They're reporting that witnesses in the neighborhood heard a, quote, tremendous volume of gunfire. So much so that you heard CB mention that one neighbor thought it was somebody doing roof work on their house. There was so much banging. Again, Fox News has not independently confirming that. That coming from our Fox affiliate, Fox 9 in Minneapolis. Your thoughts on hearing that, Bill?
So once again, I go back to the fact that this is a school that only goes up to 8th grade. And when you're talking about semi-automatic or automatic gunfire, I start to go in my mind, just based on very limited information here, that this is very outside in. It's not a student. It's somebody who's targeting this school specifically. It is a Catholic school. I can't help but have my mind go back to the shooting in Nashville that targeted the Covenant School. We had that shooter in that case, Audrey Hale, seems to have targeted that school for an ideological reason.
Had gone to the school.
Had gone to the school. So do we have something like that here again? Again, that is speculation. I want to be clear on that. If, in fact, the shooter is mitigated here, isolated and contained, shot, wounded, potentially DOA. What'll happen now is you're morphing into the aftermath. You're morphing into obviously dealing with the families, notifications, setting up grief counseling for the students, things like that. But also, let's remember something else. You got a crime scene.
That's CB Cotton reporting live, as details were still unfolding. The shooting reportedly began during school mass, around 8:30 a.m., when students were gathered inside. Parents rushed to the reunification zone, anxiously waiting to see their children.
We have this little boy walking out here, being held by his father, maybe an older brother walking along with the mother, and what a traumatic way to start the school year for this community. The school kicked off at 8. The mass started at 8:15, and there's a report that I'm getting here from local media that the shooting apparently started around 8:30 a.m. So, well, everybody was there in place if they were on time.
And Paul, is there anything to be read into here that there's a whole lot of ambulances on scene, but we're not seeing a whole lot of them leave?
Oof, I mean, you could, I suppose. Now, it's entirely possible that those who were most seriously wounded were, like I said earlier, either immediately evacuated to a trauma center, or in some cases, the police won't even wait. Put the kid in the car, and you're out the door. But in this instance, if they're there, you could read into it that they're treating people at the scene, and as a result, they don't need to rush to an emergency room. It's very hard to read the tea leaves on
a whole lot
like
obviously happened before the media cameras got up, right?
Exactly.
So there's a lot that happened before these live cameras were up. But what we are seeing now is obviously a lot of ambulances there, huge law enforcement response. We continue to see these parents, appear to be parents, trickling in and leaving the area with their young children, like what you're looking at right here. And you can just imagine how happy those parents are to have those kids flanked with them, knowing that they're okay.
Paul, one of the things that you were there on 9/11 as NYPD and in the aftermath for the many weeks after. And one of the discussion points at that time was, can we, should we, how could we harden soft targets?
Right.
And schools being some of the softest targets, right? And not the only ones. We had here in New York the shooter that went into the Blackstone building. We see a family there, a young girl being comforted by, it looks like maybe her mom and dad.
As you just heard, investigators believe the suspect may have deliberately targeted this Catholic school. The comparison to other school shootings, like the tragedy in Nashville, raises alarming concerns about whether faith-based schools are being deliberately targeted.
There's schools all over the country that are going back this week, and I know this is on a lot of people's minds. They have a plan, but is there anything else you think that these schools should be doing?
Yeah, I mean, we always go to this talking point, don't we, afterwards, with saying, like, what could have been done? Should there have been a guard there? Should there have been an armed guard there? Does that help, or does it create a certain atmosphere? I've been an advocate in the past of the fact that they should consider hiring armed guards in these schools, and they should be ex-cops. Cops, very often, what they miss when they retire, they miss the mission. They want to still be involved. They want to be helpful. They're trained in firearms. They tend to be good with kids because they've had a lot of those kinds of experiences.
And here we have, sorry, I just want to show you this video here. Our camera was just able to see, it looks like, I'm sorry, he's obviously trying to study this camera, but a lot of kids now coming out of the school, right? So that's something we were talking about just beforehand. These little ones have been through an ordeal this morning. They are going to need the support of the family and the communities. And I know we have a poster from the president.
And as we watch this, we're just getting some initial reaction from President Trump posting on Truth Social, quote, "I've been fully briefed on the tragic shooting in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The FBI quickly responded and they are on scene. The White House will continue to monitor this terrible situation. Please join me in praying for everyone involved. FBI Director Kash Patel also posting that the FBI is aware of the reports of the shooting. Their agents are on scene as well.
Paul, one of the questions I have as these young people come out with their parents is, will the police want to speak to them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they will, and I'm sure they have spoken to many of them. That's what I was going to earlier. You have a crime scene now, and we're not being told that we're saying the shooter is contained. We don't know what that quite means, but if the shooter is alive, well, you're going to have a prosecution here. And so you get to a point where, first of all, you want to make sure everybody is safe and make sure that the children understand that they're secure. But at some point here, this could morph into something where you're doing a lot of interviews, and some of these kids may end up being kids who are asked to testify if it ever gets that far. Kids can testify under normal circumstances, depending on the age, depending if they understand what's going on. So, of course,
I mean, they're very young. Look at this young boy with his mother. That might have been that might have been his first year at school, if it's kindergarten through 8th grade.
This is still an active investigation. At this point, what matters most is supporting the families, students, and staff who experience this trauma. We'll keep following the updates as more information comes in. Our thoughts are with the Minneapolis community tonight.